Getting a business off the ground requires data-driven strategy and truly exceptional product. But entrepreneurs know there is a lot more to building a business than analytics and sleek design.
We want to know what makes founders tick, how they pivot to tackle the hard stuff, what keeps them up all night, and what keeps them going each day. I'm Jenny Rudin.
And I'm Katie Demo, and we're the co-founders of Brass Clothing and your hosts for Making It Happen, a show where we have raw, honest conversations with other founders like ourselves.
Join us for fly-on-the-wall access to intimate discussion about what it's really like to start, run, and grow a business. This is Making It Happen.
Becoming an entrepreneur is the result of a series of decisions. Should you keep your business as a side hustle or go full time? Should you bootstrap or raise funding? Should you quit or keep going?
That's why it is so important to master the art of the pivot as a founder. You have to be able to realize when something's working and when it's not, which is exactly what Monica Grohne had to grapple with at multiple points throughout her journey of building her business.
Today on Making It Happen, we're talking to Monica about how she started Marea, a menstrual wellness brand, and how she weighs whether to double down or abandon ship with each decision she makes.
Hey, Monica, welcome.
Hey, Monica.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for being with us. It's really exciting to have you.
So let's just jump right in. Why don't you give us a brief description of your career trajectory prior to launching Mariah?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really starts when I moved to Jackson about 10 years ago. I was here and competing as a professional athlete in the ski space. And that was an amazing part of my journey to becoming a marketer and learning how to self-promote. And from there, I dove into the outdoor industry, media and media production, working with some really big brands like the North Face and REI and O'Neill. And I realized through that I just really loved the brand side of things and wanted to work in-house. Had an opportunity to work with a local e-commerce company here in Jackson, which I feel like is really rare. And while I was working there, was battling with my own health problems, specifically menstrual health problems, and came across the benefits for myself of nutritional supplementation. And during that process, I was just realizing that there was a lack of education. I had no idea that my nutrition was playing a role in my menstrual health. And also the way that I was getting these nutrients was super cumbersome and awful. And it was kind of just like that like light bulb moment for me of, wow, like there's something here. I now have these skills and this understanding in this space that I think that, I can be the person that can deliver this to the world.
So when you say lack of education, do you think that women were even aware that the lack of certain nutrients was contributing to what they might have been feeling, the highs and lows throughout their cycles each month? Like what about your experience drew that connection between what I'm feeling right now is a result of a nutritional imbalance or hormonal imbalance?
Yeah, so I had no idea that nutrition was playing a role in the symptoms that I had. So I was having like really severe mood swings, cramps, bloating, just like very, very bad symptoms the week before my period. And in my mind, I went to my doctor and asked, like, what can I do about this? How do we make these things go away? And for years and years, the solution was always, okay, try this different birth control, try antidepressants, like just trying these prescriptive drugs, as opposed to a conversation about, well, have you thought about what you're eating, your diet? Are you supplementing? Are you nutritionally deficient? And when it got to the point where I was being prescribed antidepressants, I was kind of asking myself, like, wait, a brain medication for a hormonal issue? Like something seems off here. And I decided to seek some other opinions. And through that, a doctor had suggested to me, hey, we've seen really good results. Or actually, it was a nurse practitioner, but we've seen really good results with women supplementing these nutrients because they are common deficiencies in women who are seeing hormonal symptoms. And I was like, wait, what? Like, it was such like a, just aha moment to me of, wow, how I'm supporting my body nutritionally actually can make a difference in my periods.
So how did it go from hearing and learning and getting a little bit more educated about the effect of your own physiology, your own chemical, nutritional makeup, to creating your product?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when that nurse practitioner actually gave me a list of supplements that I should try, I went to Whole Foods, I bought all of these things, and it was, 12 different nutrients that I was buying separately. It was very, very expensive. I was spending $100 to $200 a month to get these nutrients at the levels that I needed them. And at that point, I obviously started to have conversations with my girlfriends and family members and just like people in my community about, hey, like, have you ever been told to take nutrients for your period? Do you have PMS? Like, what is your experience with this? And within the first 2 months of me being on these nutrients, it was very, very evident that they were life-changing for the symptoms I was experiencing. I was feeling so much more balanced. And even my husband, we were boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, he was like, whoa, like, you're a new person. It was really, really telling in that moment. And so as I was continuing to have these conversations with friends, people in my network, like reaching out to people on social media channels, just seeing if this was a shared experience, more and more people were curious, like, well, what are these nutrients? Like, can I try them? And I decided, I was like, okay, what if I just see if this can work for other people? And so I started offering to buy this group of supplements for others if they'd give me feedback on their symptoms over time. So that was kind of like my initial beta test to see if there was something there for not just me.
Are you trying to help your friends, or are you thinking, hey, there's an opportunity here?
It was a little bit of both. It initially started with like 3 friends, and I was just like, hey, this really worked for me. Like, and I was passing off the list. And then when I started to realize that there were a lot of people interested, I was like, okay, I need to find a way to collect data on this. So that was when there was the shift in my brain of, let's see if this is helping other people, to see if this could be a potential business path. Because I was having these moments for me of like, how do I get this out there? How do I educate more people on this? I'm really passionate about this. It's been so like life-changing for me. I want to be able to share that with others. And I was thinking about all these potential ways of doing this. Do I like become an advocate in the space and like some kind of social media influencer, especially having that athlete background of having to have a presence? I was like, I could just talk about this on social media and like help other people, be a health coach. I was like, or like what I really want is to eventually own a business. So can I help people through owning a business in this space? And that's when I started to buy the nutrients for other people and get their feedback. And we ended up having a group of 50 people provide feedback over 3 months' time. And it was 80% of those people saw an improvement in their symptoms as well. And at that moment, I was like, okay, game time. Like, we need to figure out how to make this.
I feel like it's fascinating. First of all, like, so many supplements out there. I think people, and that's a scary space. Do they work? Are they FDA approved? I'm actually curious to hear your philosophy a little bit on that. Should be getting them in a pill form, from real Whole Foods form. There's all sorts of, again, schools of thought on that. I think it's remarkable that you saw such a quick improvement in your own symptoms, that it was so significant that your husband noticed it and commented on it. And I'm not making a generalization about like men noticing things here. Obviously that's, let's not go there, but like, that's kind of amazing that he noticed it and told you that he recognized in you such a dramatic change in a fairly short time period. And on top of that, to get more widespread feedback from your little beta test group of 50 participants, that within 3 months, 80% saw an improvement. I mean, like, the writing's on the wall there that you really had to, and I assume at that point you were still buying individual supplements and kind of amassing a pill pack, if you will, of those nutrient supplements. And now, like, how do you take that and scale it more affordably?
I'm curious. So it seems like you really, like, that test that you did with your friends is really important. And that was the decision you made that's when you decided to double down on this idea after you ran that test. Are you a data-driven person? Is that something that you've sort of grown up, like, thinking about first? How does your brain work that way?
Yeah, it was less about me being data-driven and more about me being informed on the supplement industry, that I wanted there to be, like, I didn't want to just go out and make these claims that these nutrients worked for this. I wanted to see it work for my own two eyes. I knew it worked for me, but I wanted to see it work for more people. And so that was just part of me believing in the product more and making sure that it wasn't just like a fluke, that it felt really good for me. So it was more about me having a lot of confidence in the products that we were building. So once we were seeing that benefit for a group of people, it was like, okay, what science is out there that supports this? And how can we make sure that we're just not creating a marketing product? Because I didn't want it to be something that was like, we were just claiming this to sell it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
And so that gave me the confidence that, okay, this is going to work for a larger group of people.
Cool.
Awesome.
So now Marea, your company, it's really in its infancy right now. You're coming up with this concept. How did you go about developing your very first product?
Yeah, so at that point, I wanted to really dig into the science, and had been doing a lot of searching on, like, PubMed, looking for research studies on these nutrients and how they affected premenstrual syndrome. And I came across an article written by a dietitian that was actually continuing ed for other dietitians about the effects of nutrition on premenstrual syndrome, so PMS. And it was linking out to a ton of applicable studies. And I was just like, whoa, this is actually exactly what I was looking for. And at that point, I took note of the dietitian who'd put the information together. And I was like, hey, can't hurt to reach out to this person. So I found her email address, sent her an email, and I was like, hey, I'm working on this project. I want to bring this product, to market. I want to create something that's effective for the largest group of people possible, as well as make it more convenient, easy to use, and provide education around nutrition for menstruation. I was like, are you interested in being a part of this? Like, can we chat? I found your article. And she responded, and she was like, yeah, I'm in. Like, I'll be your medical advisor, no problem. So at that point I was like, okay, like, game on. And that was a moment where I was like, wow, all you have to do is ask sometimes.
And are you guys still working together today?
Yeah. So she's still a medical advisor. She was really, really helpful through the process of just determining our actual formulation, what level of nutrients we should put in the product, reviewing our nutritional facts label, and being part of the overall process. I was bouncing ideas off of her. What do you think about this? What do you think of positioning it like that? And really understanding kind of what not claims, but how we could position the product, what we could say about it, what we couldn't. So super involved kind of in that product creation portion, and has continued to provide articles and support in the educational space for the brand.
So she was helping provide a lot of that support, that educational support at the very beginning. And tell us a little bit more about the development of the actual product.
Yeah. So once we nailed down the very specific levels of nutrients and what we wanted the facts label to look like, it was really time to find a partner who could make the product. This isn't something I was going to like blend together in my kitchen. I realized I needed a manufacturer. And that was something that was really, really uncomfortable for me. I'm a marketer through and through, and I've never gone out and worked with a manufacturer, which turns out is a super masculine like industry. It's run by old white males, and was super intimidating. So we spent a lot of time looking for the right partner. And at that time, I really, really thought that the product was going to be sachets of pills. So grouping like five pills together in a sachet. And the more and more I talked to facilities and realized that it was still going to be a lot of pills and super like just, it wasn't going to be as convenient as I wanted it to be. I was like, okay, what else can we do here? And that was when I pivoted into really thinking, okay, I want to make a powder. So it's going to be like a protein powder or a collagen or something like that you actually end up mixing with water. But all of these nutrients are easily in that. And on top of that, let's make it even more convenient. Let's not deliver it in a tub with a scoop, but rather individually package it. So it's really easy to take with you. You have your single serving every day. And that to me, I was like, wow, like this actually makes the product more unique. And turns out that it's a better way to actually deliver these nutrients than encapsulating them.
So this is really interesting. So you were kind of like running into a brick wall, if you will. Like you're not able to move forward. One, you're meeting with sort of stodgy old white men who don't really get what you're trying to do, and they're really not understanding the product that you're trying to make and what you're trying to deliver. And so you're in sort of this. I'm sure it felt uneasy and uncomfortable to you to be running into these issues, but it led up to the moment where you pivoted and your whole business changed. So I'm curious, what was, when you were in those moments of probably feeling some self-doubt or whatever, how did you work through that? What were some of the things, or the conversations you had with yourself, with others? That's a really hard place to be, and you wound up in a really good place because of it. So, and a lot of people get that way. So, help us through how you got through it.
Yeah, I think a lot of what I was asking myself and trying to ask this group of people who had already kind of engaged, right? Like I had a group of women who understood what I was doing, who saw the benefits of the product. And I was like, okay, would you rather it be delivered like this in these pill forms where you're still having to swallow down 5 to 7 pills a day? Or like, what do we think about, are you using hydration mixes? Are you already using collagen powders? Like, what do you think about getting your multivitamin as a powder? And I had to ask myself that too, right? Like I had to be like, will I mix it with water? Will I drink this every day as a flavored product? What does that look like? Because at the end of the day, like I was my best customer too. So I was really starting to have those conversations of what does my community think about this? What do I think about this? And on a daily basis, as I was taking my pills, I was like, would I enjoy this more if I could just pour it in water and take my water bottle with me and drink it throughout my morning? And I was realizing like, actually that process is much more enjoyable. And it provides me with this moment and ritual in my day that makes me be mindful of my cycle, which turned out to be better, as opposed to this moment in my day where I was like, oh, gross. Okay, here we go. I'm going to like shove these pills in my mouth and gulp them down. So that was kind of the thought process there. And also I was having to have conversations with these manufacturing facilities to really see like, is this feasible? Are we going to be able to make a product that tastes good with these nutrients? And the more and more like of those conversations that I had, that I realized it was a possibility, I was quickly just getting excited and forgetting the pill option altogether.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you tell us about finding the right manufacturer? Did you have to approach a few different ones? Did you go down the line with one and realize it was the wrong choice and pivot to another? How did that come about?
I talked to so many facilities, and through this process, I was also just trying to figure out what it was going to cost, right? Like, you have to know what your startup costs are. And this was the key cost. So I talked to a lot of facilities, got a lot of quotes. And at the end of the day, I was just not happy with any of them. It was like proving really, really hard. And that was when I realized I really needed to utilize other people and my network more. And I reached out to a founder who's actually in the skincare space. And I was like, how did you find your manufacturer? Like, your products are amazing. I know that skincare and supplements are different, but sometimes there's crossover with the facilities. And she introduced me to someone in the space that had a lot of connections and was able to point me in the right direction of a facility who worked with startups, smaller brands, someone who could work with me through the flavoring process. And it turned out that having that kind of introduction and that network connection was really, really powerful, as opposed to me just going out and being a nobody to these facilities. And so that was when we really nailed down our first facility. I went and visited it and had a great conversation with the chemist. We worked through flavoring. And I was like, okay, yes, this is perfect. Since then, we've had to find a new facility, which is so sad.
Why did that come about?
So after our first run, the facility actually stopped having the capability to make the stick packs how our product is packaged. They realized they didn't want to offer that anymore, which was so sad for us because we obviously went through so much to really work with that facility. And so it was a clean break, if you will. Like, they were like, we're so sorry. If you want to do bulk, like, we're happy to produce that for you. And so that was another moment of, here we go again. I have to find someone else to make our product. But luckily, having been through that process once already, I felt much more equipped to go at it again.
Okay, that's really interesting. So I feel like a lot of founders out there recognize halfway through their journey that the second time they've had to pivot, the third time some big roadblock comes into play, the fourth time there's like a major redirect, you're just that much more equipped to managing the stress and the anxiety about confronting that problem. Would you say that's true for yourself?
Definitely. Yeah. Going into finding another facility, I just felt more confident to have the conversations with people. I realized that I'd done this before. I knew the right questions to ask. I knew what I was looking for, and I knew to tap my network earlier. And so it allowed me to go through it. Still, I mean, I'm still not like a manufacturing guru by any means. But I knew that I could find a long-term partner and the right facility to move forward with, like, more indefinitely, at least.
We literally just had this conversation last night with someone who, it's like the first time you deal with a problem, it can take over your whole body. At least that's how I feel. Like, it can, it can take over your mind, take over your body. You feel it. Like, you're like, oh my God, I have this huge problem that I'm dealing with. And
there's like a visceral reaction.
It's a total visceral reaction. And then when it happens for the fourth time, you're like, okay, I can compartmentalize this. I'll deal with this, whatever. And now I'm off to dinner with my friends. Literally what the conversation we were having last night. And it's so, you don't even realize it, and how, like, when you're in that really muck of that first time you're truly problem solving for your business, you don't realize how much you're internalizing, how to get through it, and how much you're learning.
Of course.
Yeah.
Until you get to the next hurdle.
Exactly.
And you best believe that next one will be coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, they never stop.
They never stop.
They just get a little easier. When you went to go find your next manufacturer, you got that established. So besides manufacturing and stuff, what were some of the Tell us a little bit about launching your business customer facing and some of the things that you expected and where you really had to make changes.
Yeah, so when we launched the business, I really wanted to push that we were subscription only. Seeing that companies like Ritual had done this and they continue to be subscription only, I was like, okay, we can totally do this. And the reason behind it is that the product is most effective if used on a regular basis. And so we wanted to promote that this wasn't a quick fix. You really needed to be committed, and to be committed, you should just subscribe, of course. But it turned out, like in the first few months after we'd launched, people are like, I don't want to do the subscription. I want to just try it before I commit to a full month. You know, I want to make sure I like the taste. I want to make sure it fits into my routine. And these were all things that I was absorbing from my customers and hearing them, and realizing that maybe the subscription model isn't best for our consumer. Maybe as a business, it feels really good, and it gives us a lot of certainty. But at the end of the day, we want to do what's best for our customers. And so I had to decide, okay, am I going to stick to my guns and be like, no, like you got to be committed, you got to subscribe, that's your only option? Or do I want to open up the door for more conversions, for getting more people to feel, touch, see, buy the product? And had to make that decision, challenging, a totally hard decision. And I was like, I can always change back. Like, this is okay, you know? And so we ended up opening up a one-time purchase and subscription, which was great. And we just made sure that the people who are buying the one-time product, that they understood that the product had the most effect if they took it regularly. And they may not see results in the first month, right? Like, go back to our beta test. It took 3 months for people to see improvements in their symptoms. So we tried to make that really clear to the customer, and we just increased our communication on that point. That's fine if you just want to buy 1 month, but here's what to expect. And we were still seeing not necessarily like the conversion that we wanted. I think our price point is definitely higher because of how we're delivered in individual servings, the quality of our product. We have some really amazing, like, sourced ingredients that are sourced from marine minerals, like our magnesium and calcium come from organic seaweed and marine minerals. And so our price just shows that at the end of the day, that we've developed a really high quality product and we wanted to be positioned there. But people were still hesitant to kind of make that leap, that commitment. And that's what we were hearing. And at that point I was like, okay, what if we add a sample and continue, you know, people can try it for a week, see if it fits into their routine, see if they like the taste. And again, continue to be really communicative that, like, this isn't Midol, this isn't ibuprofen. You're not going to see effects from just taking it for a day. The purpose for this is for you to try it before you commit.
So I'm curious if you've made a lot of changes and reacted to a lot of things in your business. How, if you were talking to a fellow founder about a decision that they need to make that could potentially pivot their business, what are some of the things that you would tell them to do in evaluating this decision? And how would you sort of like help them through it?
Yeah, I think the best advice that I got and that I now give is talk to your customers directly. I think when you're considering making a change, the people that are going to be affected by it and the people that have the most information is your community. You already have this group of people who are invested in you as a brand, who are interested in what you're doing. So why not just talk to them directly? One of the things that I started doing was customers who'd been with us for 2+ months, I'd reach out with a link for them to schedule 15 minutes with me, and literally start having conversations with them. How's it going? What do you like? What do you not like? And those were so powerful in affirming my decision, or again, making me change my mind. And that, like, even if it's people who haven't purchased your product yet, like, can you poll people on your social channels? How can you actually get that customer input and feedback? Because they're the most important people. It's not like a business mentor who, thinks that they know what you should do, because they might not be your customer. While mentors and advisors can be really helpful, like, sometimes your customers are the most help.
Katie and I have a lot of success with our own customer base through surveys, and they've literally saved us from spending bundles of money on a PO for an item that they don't want. And frankly, a quick, 5-minute survey shared in our Facebook group, the Guild, is like all it takes.
Makes all the difference in the world.
To make the decision for us. I mean, sometimes that's really what you need.
Yeah. There's nothing like getting direct customer feedback. And I think some people are like, what do you mean? Like, when you say, how do I talk to my customers? I think sometimes people are like, oh yeah, I talk to my customers, they send emails to my info inbox,
Yeah.
And which is great, but you've demonstrated that you can go so much deeper and make such powerful connections with these people if you actually give them some of your real time, which is
Absolutely
amazing that you had that intuition and instinct to do that as a founder. It's really incredible.
Yeah, and we've continued to do things that are like very unscalable in that way. We want to create lifelong customers, and it's about making that connection. And so, like, it's, for a while, I was sending customized videos to people via email when they'd purchased our sample pack, introducing myself, introducing the product, asking them to reply with their feedback, and then like offering, hey, if you want to jump on the phone, here's a link. And so many times just showing up in non-scalable ways, letting them know why I've created this brand that I'm invested for, because I have the same problem that they have, and really trying to build a relationship with them, and having them understand, like, we're here for you. We want to make the best thing for you. But like, in order to do that, we really need you to participate in the process.
I think it's great. And it's such an honest acknowledgement of how much you value them and their input, I mean, they're parting with their dollars. Mm-hmm. So no one has more skin in the game than someone giving you their money for a product.
Exactly.
Yeah. Our customers are investors, right? Like, as a bootstrapped brand who didn't raise, at the end of the day, every single person who's subscribed or who has bought product from us is an investor.
So where do you see your business in 5 years? I think that's going to be a nice note to end on.
Yeah, what an amazing question. We are going to continue to serve menstruators through nutrition and lifestyle support. We really want to continue to provide educational content. We launch digital workshops for our community where we bring in experts and provide hour-long Zoom sessions that are really intimate, where they can get questions answered, focus on a specific topic, and really learn the next steps that they can take in their lifestyle or their nutritional journey to support their menstrual pains. So we'll continue to build out that side of the business, as well as some new products that we have in development, which are really exciting. But our goal is to support as many women as we physically possibly can, to increase their menstrual well-being and create healthier and happier periods.
That's awesome.
Well, Monica, thank you for your time. This has been such a fabulous conversation.
We've learned a lot, and thank you for sharing your story and your journey. And We really appreciate it.
What a great combo.
That was awesome. That was so good. I'm really, I love her approach towards pivoting. I feel like there's so much anxiety, stress, even shame, ridiculously, about like going in a different direction after you've sort of set course. And it's so unnecessary. And she didn't really have any of that, which is incredible.
No, I agree. And she had just such a calm, collected manner about her too. So what I thought was really, really, what I really admire about Monica too is that she has such a clear kind of, I guess, like, hindsight is 2020 about pivots. It's really easy as a founder to say, oh, back when I made that decision to change course, it was for the right reasons. But in the moment, you have to do a lot more self-talk, and you have to really dig deep and maybe just sort of change the narrative for yourself. Like, saddled, you could confront a moment where you have to change course and think, oh God, I've gone all the way down this path. Yeah. What a waste of time and energy and resources. But really what you should be thinking is, wow, how amazing is it that I am holding on to this bit of intel or info or customer feedback that's letting me change course and letting me go in the right direction. That's setting my business up for maximum success.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and you might have never realized just how important the change was going to be had you not gone down the quote unquote wrong path first.
Right. Each decision leads you to where you end up going. If you're able to listen to your customer, really take in their feedback.
Exactly.
The decisions you're making is doing nothing but improving your business and their experience.
Absolutely. So I hope this helps other founders. Well, one, if you haven't come to a point of pivot yet, you will.
Definitely.
We all do. And yeah, after that immediate kind of rush of anxiety and stress about having overextended yourself or spent too much going down this path and recognizing the need to change, just know that need to change will send you in the right direction.
Yes.
Pretty much across the board.
It'll open up a lot of doors.
I actually thought it was really super how Monica recognized she kind of overcame maybe a little bit of pride or an interest in doing it herself and tapped her own networks.
Yes.
It's incredible. Like, she reached out to Dana, who is the medical advisor she's worked with on creating her formulas. And Dana responded with such enthusiasm about partnering with Monica on Mariah, getting back into the network that she had worked with in her former job and leveraging some of those relationships to find her manufacturers. People, if they don't have time to answer your email, they just won't answer. But 9 times out of 10, you will get lucky. Someone would love to pay it forward, pay their experience forward, their own network forward to you. And I feel like, the universe works in great ways in that sense.
It does. So always ask.
Always ask.
Yeah. Cool. That was good.
Thanks, Monica.
Thank you, Monica.